What is up? Welcome to Theory Unlocked. Another episode this week. Two, Michael, we got hit with this week because we had some big stuff drop. So yeah, we definitely got a couple things to talk about. Welcome to another episode. This is the Gamerz Theory Podcast. As always, I'm Drew Mosley. Joining alongside me is my good buddy, Michael Fisher. Fish, what is happening, brother? How are you?
I'm good. You know, we kicked the week off with a bonus Xbox video, and who would have guessed that our regularly scheduled content is also going to feature some Xbox discussion, Drew?
Who knew that was going to happen, Michael? I tell you, you can't make this stuff up right now, can we?
No.
That's for sure. But as we said, this is Theory Unlocked. We're on episode 20 already. This is where we bring you the latest in gaming news, hot topics, indie spotlights, and then once in a while we're able to get a couple of the developers on here working on some more. Got some written stuff coming. Got some written exclusive. I just got confirmation of this morning, so look forward to that when we're able to reveal who we're talking to next. It's basically what's going on there. And you can always help us out by hitting that like button, subscribe button, whether you find us over on Spotify, YouTube. Go check us out over on the gamerstheory.com website. You can also hit us up over in our Substack, thegamerstheory.substack.com. And, Michael, this week we just launched our paid subscription tier when it comes to Substack as well. So, if you don't know, right now, every day we put out a daily morning news break where we give you the daily news, reviews, previews, theory articles, all that good stuff like we always do, and this very live podcast. But we've also just dropped our paid tier, which gives you a weekly newsletter coming out every Sunday night where we track the latest rumors, games to watch, games wish lists, everything from AAA to the indie gems. And we also got some Game Pass and PlayStation Plus picks of the week. We also have a 30-minute exclusive podcast only for those on the Substack in the paid tier, where we give our off-the-record opinions, industry predictions, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then if you really want to go up and above everybody and really thankfully support us, you can hit us on the Founders tier, where there you get a private Zoom call with just us and your name on the website. So yeah, a bunch of cool stuff. Michael, let's get into what's happening today. Today, we're talking about Elder Scrolls 6, State of Decay 3, what we've been playing, of course. Topic of the show is a good one. Xbox not doing so well, it turns out, with Game Pass. And also, what are we looking forward to this July? What games are we going to be playing? And then, as always, we'll be ending off with 2 indie spotlights like we do each and every week. Michael, I'm going to let you go first, dude. What's your news topic of the day? What are we going in here?
Well, it'll kick things off for a very, Xbox-centered podcast here, and that is talking about State of Decay 3, of course, Undead Labs, one of those affected heavily by the Xbox cuts. I believe the studio completely let go, though Microsoft did help arrange them for a mystery buyer who's, from what I've seen, they haven't quite found his identity yet, but he did hop in to make sure that game is going to get finished. So at least shout out to Microsoft for not just shuttering the studio. But as of right now, Drew, on Steam, State of Decay 3, 28th most wish-listed game, ahead of every single Xbox title coming out this year. So that would be Halo, Campaign Evolved, Gears of War E-Day. The only Xbox title ahead of it is Fable, which is number 3. I think a lot of people obviously hype for Fable, but a Gears of War return, a Halo return, not enough to beat State of Decay 3, which we're going to talk a lot about. A lot of misses by Xbox today. This is feeling like another one that they somehow couldn't realize that Undead Labs was at least close right at the beginning. We had a trailer at the showcase. Of course, we now know that trailer was to help get funding because they were going to cut them. But it just seems like another misstep here by Xbox, letting State of Decay 3 go right before it's scheduled to release sometime next year.
Yeah, what a weird one to invest in all these years to suddenly just say goodbye, right? Yep. So here, let's go to the other side of it, though. You know who else said goodbye a long time ago to Square Enix? Was IO Interactive. And Hitman 3 blew up, and then they put out 007 First Light, which you and I both adored. So there are opportunities for those to leave companies behind, go in on their own direction, their own kind of mind frame, and then pump out something awesome. But the weird thing is that they were working on Hitman back in the day, but they weren't as far, I believe, as they are with State of Decay 3. So now that Undead Labs has gone on their own, a mystery buyer, who bought these guys? Who's behind this hidden wall, right? I'm really curious. I'm really I'm almost concerned it's like NetEase. Like NetEase or Tencent. I'm calling it right now. One of those two will be revealed. Is probably likely one of those two if I had to guess. And it definitely makes me a little nervous. I'm not the biggest fan of that possibility. I'd rather see them go the way of IO and just become independent, right? Just go out on your own. You guys started that way when you initially launched back in the day. So why not just keep it in that frame? Can you do that? Doesn't look like they can, unfortunately. But dude, the hype level for State of Decay 3 cannot wait. Now, granted, I won't be playing on PC. You will be. I'll be over on Xbox.
Maybe,
now,
right? Maybe.
So that's the other question. There now is no ties, no obligation for it to come to any platform other than what either Undead Labs and their new owner feel is right for the game. I think it's a missed opportunity, mind you, if they don't just put it everywhere. You are now considered as a third-party company. Why wouldn't you go absolutely as many places as you can? If you can even put it on Mac, fucking put it there too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll come to Xbox. Obviously, the big question is more, is it day one Game Pass, which is what the trailer promised, right? Coming day one to Game Pass, which, as you said, I don't believe there's any obligation for this mystery buyer to do that. So, yeah, I think it'll be everywhere. I think the big question is, do I have to buy State of Decay 3 on Xbox, or am I going to get it on Game Pass? That we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, very curious. You think you're buying it, or do you think you're going to get it on Game Pass? Where are your thoughts?
I mean, I think you use. I mean, obviously, Steam's only part of the equation, right? But if you're this wish listed on Steam, and of course, not every wish list buys the game. I'm sure there's some ratio that they know about in the game industry. But if you're that popular, I think you would just release it, right? Unless Xbox kind of catches wind that this game is going to do really well and gives you a really good deal, which I doubt. I think you just full release it and kind of, put it in Xbox's face that they could have had this title and made a lot more money off of it themselves. And instead now, again, wish lists are the best information we got. And so far, it looks like it's going to be one of the more popular titles of next year.
Which is very exciting. Very exciting for me. Yeah. I've been to State of Decay 3 since day one. So it's been a long time coming to get to 3. And it sounds, and from everything we've seen, there's a lot of improvements to make this almost that games as a service model without nickel and diming, hopefully, to piss us off, right? Like, that's the fear when you get into this live service experience. But I think if they're able to continue to support the community and feed us the content that we want, dude, we'll be playing State of Decay 3 for 6 months to a year, I think, right? That's kind of that's my hope and dreams, is that in a year from release, we're still working away, chipping on something over in the world of State of Decay. Now, whether it comes to Game Pass, I'm going to say no. I think they dropped Game Pass opportunity because, like you said, right now, it's all about you making as much money as you possibly can, unless Xbox comes to the table and says, here's our truck. We're just going to dump you some money, which I don't think they're going to do because they just got rid of the company, right? That doesn't make
a truck. There's no money in the truck.
There is no truck.
There's no money.
Yeah, there is no truck. Yeah, so I think that's where it is. I don't think it'll be coming to Game Pass, unfortunately, for everybody who is on Game Pass, which is funny enough a topic of the show today, so we'll get to that here shortly. But yeah, we'll see. But speaking of Xbox, let's keep it going. The Elder Scrolls 6 has been rumored now for a 2028 release at the earliest, dude.
Don't believe it.
Yeah, could be further away. Jason Schreier from Bloomberg went on to say that he has insights that they're aiming for a 2028-2029 release window. They're still 2 to 3 years away. Todd Howard, as of last year, said they're still far away from finishing the game. Michael, this is where we talk about these games, though, dude. Like, the game was, revealed in 2018. We're going to be coming into about a 10-year development life cycle by the time this game actually releases. It's going to be around something like 20 years since the last Elder Scrolls brand new experience release, being Skyrim. Yeah. Right? Oblivion, you could say Oblivion's the newest one, sure, but it's just a remake, really. It doesn't really count as a new, fresh take for the game. So, yeah, unfortunately, we're still waiting quite a while yet. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I mean, this one's just a joke, man. As you said, right? Revealed in 2018 with just a silly 30-second trailer. We've gotten literally nothing. It's basically kind of the Xbox equivalent to Beyond Good and Evil 2, right? It feels like Beyond Good and Evil 2 pops up every year, no offense to Jason Schreier, but it always feels like there's some insider every few months who's like, I'm hearing Beyond Good and Evil 2's doing this, I'm hearing this. It's like, show us something, man, right? Like, the big thing why I don't believe that 2028 is a realistic thing, that's 2 years away, Drew. We have nothing, right? Unless there's gonna be a trailer before the end of the year. I can't believe that this game's going to be ready, right? There's no reason if you're Xbox you would want to keep this under wraps. The moment a trailer is good to go, you're pushing this out there, right? I think if you're Asher Sharma, you're getting on Bethesda like, we need something good. Like, this needs to be hammered home. So if it really is 2028, maybe 2029, as Jason Schreier sort of alluded to, like, I got to see a trailer before the end of this year, or it's just another one of those, like, yeah, man, it'll definitely be here. Trust us. Oh, we hit another delay. Who would have guessed? Because, we've been hearing that for years, right? I mean, even if it does come out in 2028, a 10-year development cycle is crazy. I know that's sort of the GTA 6. I think if there's a title that kind of fits, maybe Elder Scrolls 6 is sort of that 1B to GTA 6 is 1A.
Sure.
But I have no faith. I have no faith through that this game is... even coming out before 2030. I just don't believe it.
So here would be my overall, I think, pipe dream. And bear with me here. This won't happen. But what a way to, if it could. You launch Project Helix alongside Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Dude, like, that would blow socks off, right? All of a sudden, Xbox is like, hey, we're back. Like, that's all it would take. Hey, we're back. You offer... Now, chances of them... So I also saw a rumor today that they're going exclusives. They're doing the PlayStation method. Single players are going to be exclusives. Multiplayer are going multi-platform. Right? Yeah. Makes sense. So if chances are likely that Elder Scrolls 6 is a single player experience only, which then that means it becomes exclusive, Michael. No PlayStation 5.
No way. There's
right?
No way.
They'll put it on PC. Dude, they'll put it on PC because Microsoft has the PC side of it too. Well, right? Yeah, so, but then you have PC and just Xbox. Can you... Dude, you leave out PlayStation? You want to fight against PlayStation? This is how you do it. You don't just give them your fucking game like you've been. This is why you're losing. Pull people back. Yeah. Give them a reason to buy an Xbox. You want to play the next Skyrim, Skyrim 2, Elder Scrolls 6, whatever they call this? Go fuck yourself if you're going to get it on PlayStation. Come to us.
Yeah?
That's how you win. Dude, this is how PlayStation's been winning this race a whole time. Is that they come to PlayStation because why? Because the exclusives are there. The stories are there. PlayStation has had studios come and go, launch multi-platform titles like Concord, and we see it tank. But what is their bread and butter? It's the single-player stuff. It's the Spider-Man. It's the upcoming Wolverine. It's the Ghost of Yotei that is still PlayStation's biggest seller of 2026 from a 2025 title. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would be... It'd be crazy, I think, to move Elder Scrolls from multi-platform to solo platform, but I think you're right. I think that'd be a hell of a playbook to come out if you're Xbox, if you can pull that off. I think we'll get the Helix well before we get Elder Scrolls 6, though. They have given me no faith. This is no faith. Like, again, maybe they give us a trailer, right? They give us a trailer. I'll eat my words. I'll be like, okay, maybe they're onto something, but 2 years away, allegedly, and we don't even have like a CGI trailer to show for it.
We've had the 30-second splash screen of like the world, and then the logo pops up, right? That's all anybody has seen for the last
when's our next
years.
Big event where they show
Gamescom
trailers?
in August, coming up next month.
Okay, we'll see if they.
That's not going to be there. You think it's going to be there?
Okay. Well, if it's coming out in 2028, it better be there. I don't think it's going to be there. But
not
if
a
you're telling
chance.
me it's 2028, then if it's not there, then I'm telling you you're wrong.
It's not going to be there.
Polymarket bet on, after August, I'll take the Polymarket bet that it's not coming out in 2028.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath on this one. I don't think that's going to be there whatsoever. That would be nice to see. Do like something of an indicator. Yep. Like, how long have we been now watching Fable? We've been seeing trailers drop here a little bit there. Like, why not give us something? You got to have something to showcase. Maybe they put up a splice of a trailer. Here you go. Problem is, dude, I don't want to see cinematic. I don't want to see it.
It'll be cinematic. The only argument I could ever see of why it's ready but we're not getting trailers is you don't want to fall into the GTA 6 machine, but also like in August, we've still got a couple months till GTA 6.
Yeah.
Put a trailer out. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna need to see a trailer before I believe any dates around this game, because I feel like this game's been 2-3 years away now, for 6 years.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. We've been hearing rumblings about this and this, that, and the other, right? But yeah, it would be nice to finally see something. My goodness. Well, Michael, seeing something has been on my PlayStation 5 is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. I can finally talk about it. My goodness, man. I've sunk hours into sailing the seas over here. Dude, Edward is back. It is easily one of the best remakes I've experienced in a very long time. Full review is up on our Substack. Full review is over on the gamerstheory.com website. Full written and video. Your choice. Pick your poison, people. So yeah, you can hit us up on our YouTube channel as well. It's over there for you to check out. Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you the score, but it was good either way. So that's what I've been mostly playing. I've been sinking my teeth in heavily for that one for good reasons, right? So yeah, nostalgia trip back in full swing. And I'm not one to go back to play old games. So this one's kind of a little bit different because it's remade from the ground up. Brand new Anvil engine from Ubisoft. So yeah, thanks, and a big shout out to our friends over at Ubisoft for supplying us with the code. And speaking of Ubisoft, Rainbow Six Siege. Still just a nightly event over here at this house. And then I've got another embargo game I'm working on, so keep eyes open for that. But that one's not coming for a little bit. I got this one early, which is the biggest compliment I can give to any PR team we work with. Thank you. Give me the time to sink into the game to play it. You know, when you get an open world game and you got less than a week to play it, those games suck and make it hard to get to.
Yep.
But if you get plenty of time, dude, like we've had some games, like I think it was Horizon Forbidden West. I think we had it for a month. I was like, man, this is incredible, because then we can really dive in and dissect the whole game, right? So yeah, very, very cool. But yeah, something I'm working on as well. But that's up for me. I see what you're up to. One I need to get back to. What have you been playing?
Yeah, I've been slowly chipping away at MLB this show, slowly working away. I think I'm 5-6 years into my road to the show career, right? So
are you doing the auto stuff?
No, I went with the pitcher, so I can, I don't have to play that often.
Oh, okay.
I don't have to play every day. I didn't do the two-way player because for whatever reason, back in gonna make me sound like a little bit of a a boomer here, but back in my day, MLB the Show 12, MLB the Show 13, I raked at the plate. Ever since I came back, I am awful at hitting, man. Like I am so bad. They have the scaling difficulty.
Yeah.
I'm hitting on like rookie, man. So I'm like, I'm not gonna hit. I am just, the timing is just, something's off.
Sure.
Apparently little Michael was a lot better at it. So I only pitch, just have fun with that. So I can go a little faster, right? I can go a little bit faster than you when you're hitting every single day. You have to do all the fielding as well, right? So been able to chip away at that a little bit, teetering on the Hall of Fame potential. I'm like right there. I have like a couple bad games, goes down, have a couple good games. I'm like, okay, if I can keep doing this. So man, you sink so many hours into these sports games, man.
It's huge now.
It's actually insane. And then Sand. I've been playing a little bit of Sand, slowing down a little bit. They're in that sort of early access window that I think a lot of titles experience, right? Game comes out, it's really good, but there's bugs. And now it's like, all right, we got to start getting to these bugs. They're slowly chipping away, but as you know with any game, a patch fixes one bug, introduces another one, right? So they're chipping away. Really wish they'd fix the servers, man. The servers are still probably the worst part. Almost wish they'd just prioritize that over some of the, the exploits we've been seeing. But it's still a heck of a fun game, man. Absolutely love. Me and my buddies have been having an absolute time. We just got the battering ram unlocked, so we just ram right into people, jump aboard. Just almost like, really doing the full Sea of Thieves, It's just like, all right, we're boarding you. We've got Prox chat on. We've had a couple of great moments. We'll pretend to be ship inspectors. Like, hey, we're just going to come check you out. Boom. Take advantage of their kindness. Take their ship, man. So it's been a lot of fun. Absolutely love this game. It's been so good.
That is very cool. MLB is one I need to get back to, without a doubt, right? But I've been, like I say, chipping away at Assassin's Creed. That I was too busy sailing the seas to go play some baseball.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's where I've been at. Michael, let's get into topic of the show. We've got a bit of a double header here today. $80+ billion spent on Game Pass. What does that mean? What does the future look like? And then before we end that off, we're going to get into games of the month that we're looking forward to. It's a brand new month. It is July, and there's a whole flurry of games coming out. I'm surprised my list is actually as big as it is. It's funny how
your list intimidated me, man. I was like, I don't have that many ideas. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna have all time for all those games. So I had to shrink my list down. My list is significantly smaller than yours.
That's fair. That's fair. But let's get into it because the playbook. Xbox chased. So this is coming from WCCF Tech actually. Xbox chased Netflix playbook of gaming, but $80 billion invested in the Game Pass, and it has not grown. It's actually declined, Michael. So basically what we've heard from what we understand after looking into this a little bit is that as of right now, Game Pass hovers around 30 million subscribers a month, down from 34 over the course of 2 years. Not doing the greatest, Michael. They are betting on long term, but if you look at Netflix versus games, dude, you can watch a TV show in half an hour. You can watch a movie in an hour and a half, 2 hours. Maybe it's a long one, so it's 3 hours. Then you're done. Games don't work that way, which is why, on the other side of it, we don't see PlayStation following this model, right? PlayStation stayed away, said, no, we don't think Game Pass is going to work. It's now hitting Xbox that they're losing millions of dollars, billions of dollars at this point, right? So they would invest about $1 billion in a third party and more, obviously, into their own games. With all of this, we just recently saw Call of Duty be removed from Game Pass. Why? Because they lost $300 million by putting it here on the platform. So they removed that, hoping to recoup that cost, that expense. Michael, what does the future of Game Pass look like to you?
I mean, I think, unlike what WCCF Tech, and I think you should go check their article out, right?
Yeah.
I kind of disagree with their idea that Game Pass wouldn't work. I think Game Pass would work. The problem is just how Xbox handled it, right?
Sure.
And it all comes down to the price, right? Remember the first time when they jacked the price up to $20 and that was the first big outrage?
Yep.
That, to me, is I think where Xbox has been making all these mistakes. And maybe it was to recoup the money. Yes, maybe, as WCSF Tech alluded to, right? Maybe they went in too hard and too fast, right? $77 billion worth of investment on games right away. But I think it can work, right? It was, me and my buddies all had it when it first came out. We're like, this makes so much sense. Get to play a couple new games. Maybe games I wouldn't have heard of, right? I know I'm not going to get the big titles, the fancy titles. I'm okay with that. I'm still going to buy those. The problem is that all of a sudden Xbox got way too greedy. Okay, we're going to push it up to $20 a month. Then we're going to add a whole new tier. There's 3 freaking tiers of this, man. And none of them make sense, by the way. In the most classic Xbox just level of just nonsensical.
Confusion.
We have essential, premium, and ultimate. What the hell is the difference between premium and ultimate, man? Like, it's so damn confusing. I go look at PlayStation Plus, which is the closest thing, right? We have essential, extra, and premium. It makes sense. I understand there's a difference between premium and extra. I don't understand what the difference between premium and ultimate is, Drew. That's, I think, where it really comes down to is I think Xbox has completely screwed the pooch on this and just taken just about how greedy they are. Both Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus have Ubisoft Plus, the Ubisoft Plus Classic catalog.
Yeah.
PlayStation, you can get theirs at their second tier, which is $17 a month. Xbox, you cannot get it unless you pay for the ultimate tier, which is $23 a month. Yep. How could you not figure out to put Ubisoft Plus Classics in a cheaper tier to kind of mirror PlayStation, man? To me, I think Game Pass could have worked. I think in a classic Xbox fashion that we've seen, we talked about on Monday, right? It all comes down to they just want to make more money, and they ended up just pricing out everybody. The Call of Duty thing is something entirely different. I could rant about that, but I don't want to let go without you having your opinions first. But to me, I think this could have worked, just like Netflix, man. But they just made it too damn expensive, and they just absolutely messed up what was going to be a nice thing that was slowly growing because they wanted more money.
Yeah, I think greed set in. I think that's basically what it came down to, right? They upped the price too much, and that's why we all saw 30 million now versus the 34. You hiked the price, and then you hiked the price again, and then my wife said, "I'm not paying for that shit." My buddy Kyle said he's not paying for it either, and they all bounced. There's a bunch of people that bounced when it went, "I am not paying this ridiculous amount for Game Pass." which some people use, some people don't. Dude, I'm on the mix of sometimes I do, sometimes I don't use games there, right? Like, it's what do I have time for? For me, granted, we talk about this all the time, how you and I live in a different world when it comes to games because we have codes and coverage we have to do. So, but at the same time, it also makes sense that, okay, man, so I just finished up Assassin's Creed Resynced. I have a bit of time. I'm going to go catch up on some other games, but they're on Game Pass. So I'm going to use that ability right now to get caught up on those. And I'll talk about that here in my month of July. Because I got a busy month by the looks of things. So, but it is one of those things. How do they get people back? You got to drop your freaking price again. People like, oh, they're going to drop the price. They're going to put it back down to where it was? Hell no. You think gas prices are going to go back down to where they were? Not a fucking chance. This is Game Pass now, right? Yeah. Game Pass is just like gas prices. Goes up. Then it comes down, and then it goes back up again. It's only a matter of time before we eventually see, I think, Xbox Game Pass go up again. Just not as much. But they learned their lesson because they lost millions of people because they spiked this so high through the roof. They're like, this isn't worth it anymore. And then you remove Call of Duty. Granted, for me, Call of Duty, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me if Call of Duty is there. I like to play single player. I'm not there for the multiplayer. A lot of people are. We'll never come back again. They say maybe like a year from now. By then, I'll be honest, it won't matter to me.
No.
It won't matter at all. So, whatever. But there are a bunch of people. I wonder then, Michael, in that case, how many people went in hoping to go, okay, cool, you're now bringing Game Pass because you spent $70 billion on Activision to bring Call of Duty over to Game Pass. And then, okay, cool. I'll buy the service, right? People went in to buy the service, and then they upped the price, and then they took it off. It's like, man, what are you guys doing? Again, we talk about Xbox losing their sense of identity, losing their sense of direction, and I think Game Pass falls in under that hub of going, man, I don't know what we're doing right now over here on Xbox. It's such a muddled confusion. It's no different than coming out with the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X. Like, dude, it's just... If my parents walked in to the store and was looking to buy their grandkids, my kids, a Xbox, dude, they wouldn't have a freaking clue what to do, right? Yeah. They'd be so confused, so lost. What is Game Pass? What is this service? What is that service? Why is there 3 tiers? What does this tier do for that tier? Man, it's just such a... It doesn't make it simple to go out, just buy an Xbox, get the subscription model, and then you're done. Right? Like they need to make it simple, basic to understand. If you're not in the industry or a heavy gamer that is focused on the now, you're going to lose. And you're losing out on Xbox, and Xbox has got to realize that they're not coming to the table because, man, your shit is all over the place and nobody knows what the hell they're buying because you guys don't even know what you're selling. That's...
Yeah, I mean, the naming conventions at Xbox have been
horrible, man.
Since, building the Xbox 360, I'd love to know what we were going for with that, right? Because it just set them down a road that, in terms of the consoles, as you mentioned, you could never come back from. I mean, going to the Xbox One, and then it's like, okay, when I want the Xbox One, do I want the first Xbox? No, I want... So, again, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I think you're right. At the end of the day, it's all greed, right? As WCCF Tech mentions, putting Xbox on Game Pass, according to Bloomberg, lost them $300 million on Call of Duty, right? Yeah. So it's like... And then that raised the price up. Again, it's just been, I think it's one of those where you just kind of had to go with the slow growth, right? And don't be afraid to take a look at what PlayStation is doing and copy that, right? As I said, figure out how you put the Ubisoft Classic on your second tier, which is actually cheaper than PlayStation's by a couple dollars. All right, now all of a sudden you've got something on PlayStation. But again, if you're looking at it, it's like, wait, I can get the Ubisoft Plus Classics on PlayStation for $7 cheaper than I can on Xbox Game Pass. Like, how does that make sense? But Xbox is trying to, but you get all this other stuff, right? So yeah, I think Xbox just needs to take a look at what PlayStation does, and if it really comes down to it, just mirror the PlayStation Plus tiers to the best of your ability, right? Because right now it's just so damn confusing what you're gonna get. What do I need, right? Of course, both of them do it, but tying in Xbox, I guess what I always call Xbox Live, right, into Game Pass, it's like, so I have to buy Game Pass to go online? Like, you just need to make it clear to everyone what they need to buy. And again, I think it might be too late, but this was something that I think was going to just kind of grow naturally, right, over time. But Xbox immediately, right? They wanted 77 million users in like 2 years or something like that. That's not going to happen, right? You just needed to let this platform grow naturally, Drew. And Xbox greed took over, and they've absolutely nuked what could have been a really, really cool feature. I will say, yeah, they probably spent too much money, right? They should have started with their own games, maybe even tried to get people to buy in. Be like, oh man, I heard Game Pass is really cool. Can we work out a deal with you to get you on Game Pass? Instead, they're like, we're going to buy all these studios, and we're going to make them put their games on Game Pass, and it's going to work. And it's like, you needed to make proof of concept first, and they didn't do that.
I wonder where Asha takes this next. That's the biggest thing, right? She came in, we dropped the price of the Game Pass. Cool, great move. Did it go back to normal price? Absolutely not. Like I said, right? Gas prices up, not down. So it's one of those. Where do you then? How do you save Game Pass? What's your big heavy hitter? Okay, Fable's coming, right? The next Gears E-Day is coming. It'll be there. Clockwork Revolution is coming. That'll be there. I don't think Clockwork's for everybody, but I think Gears has more of a draw, and I think Fable does. Obviously, Forza has a huge draw. So Forza 6 was a good move, right? Makes sense to put it there. But at the same time, they took Call of Duty off. Why? Because they lost millions of dollars in selling that game. So what does that mean then looking forward? If they're going to take Call of Duty off, dude, do they take off Forza Horizon 7 then when that one's ready? Because they could make a lot more money probably if they don't put it on Game Pass. Hey, we've got so many users right now downloading Forza Horizon 7. Well, sure, but how much money did you make back then in that case? Can you recoup that through a subscription model versus selling an actual $80, $90 copy of the game, right? That's where they're now trying to figure out, and Ash is coming in. So I said, like we talked last week and even on Monday about this, Ash is burning down the bridges over at Xbox to rebuild the town again, right? So it's kind of, and somebody told me I was crazy. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, listen. How about you just listen? Like, she's got to figure things out. Come in here and fix what Sarah Bond started. Fix what Phil Spencer had started. This path that they've gone down isn't working. It's clearly not working, right? Asha Sharma wants to come in and have 500 million people playing a day on Xbox. That's her goal. Dude, that is insane.
It's just not going to happen.
No, right?
It's not feasible to happen unless you're going to count, as we talked about, right? You're going to count the Minecrafts. You're going to count the Candy Crushers that, yes, are technically owned by Xbox, but nobody associates them with Xbox. But yeah, I really think that it's going to be hard to rebound from Game Pass, right? I think, obviously, like you said, it's going to come down to putting a lot of these first-party titles, Gears, Fable, on Game Pass, right? See if you can get people to move over to Xbox. Because that's the other thing, right? If you can maybe take a little bit of a loss on Game Pass, but you're getting people to now move over to Xbox because it's like, hey, in the long run, if I get Gears for $20 a month, I get Fable, I get maybe Halo, right? I'll move over to Xbox, right? Because over the long, if I buy enough games, right, it's going to save me over having to have a PlayStation and buy those games, right? So that's, I think, really the way back. I think they don't really need to take rid of anything of Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty was such a massive blunder because it also came with the price raise, right? I think if you had kept the price, maybe there's a world where you get more people over to Xbox, right, to play Call of Duty. Even though with the price raise, they still lost $300 billion. So I think Call of Duty was just a misstep in realizing how popular that game is, as much as people clown on it, right? It's basically up there with the Maddens and the 2Ks of the world. Like, that's some game that some people play. That's the only game they buy all year is they buy Call of Duty and they put thousands of hours into it, and then they're going to buy the next one. They're going to buy all the DLC. They're going to they're going to buy every single cosmetic they love, right? And that's just what Call of Duty is in today's sort of, video game society. So, yeah, I think it really is going to come down to maybe you get the price down to $20 just to match PlayStation even. Again, I think the big thing is matching PlayStation, not me trying to say, lower the price, I want to save money. It's like, okay, if PlayStation can do this for $20, how can we do this for $20, right? Maybe, you cut a couple things as well, but you get down to that $20 mark because you can say, hey, we're even with PlayStation. I think that's going to be your biggest thing because, once again, it's another spot, Drew, where PlayStation's cheaper. Why would I not just pick PlayStation, right? You've got to find a way if you're Xbox to do what PlayStation is doing for either the same or even cheaper to get wins over PlayStation. That's the other reason Game Pass failed, because it's the third best console, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if there was Nintendo Game Pass or PlayStation Game Pass. I know they have PlayStation Plus, but it's not quite the same.
It's not the same, no.
They would go crazy, right? you try this innovative feature on the worst of the three consoles. You've got to find ways to get wins over PlayStation and find people to come back, and then Game Pass might start to pop off. But it's really just a failure because Xbox has failed every year since 2010.
Yeah, pretty much, right? They've never been the leader. So when you're already behind,
Yeah.
like 30 million, dude, like 30 million is nothing to sneeze at. Like, that's a lot of freaking people every month. But at the same time, when you're comparing that to other platforms, if you are comparing yourself to Netflix, you're not even in the same league, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
No,
just
not at all.
And because games take so long, and that's the other thing too. Like, to produce a movie doesn't take nearly as long as we wait around now for Skyrim 2 or the Elder Scrolls 6, whatever it's going to be, right? 10 years of development.
That's yeah.
Like, how do you recoup that with Game Pass? It's a interesting future to see. Do you think that Xbox will look back and go, you know what, maybe it's time we cancel Game Pass?
I don't think they'll ever cancel Game Pass, but I could definitely see I guess the correct term in the industry would be a heavy rebranding of Game Pass, right?
Restructure.
Yeah, a restructuring. Yeah, I think when Helix comes out, I would not be shocked if Game Pass gets renamed, restructured, maybe even moves more towards that PlayStation Plus model.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think, I don't think they'll ever get rid of it, but I could definitely see 2-3 years from now, right? Game Pass is no longer a word, right? It's not a known commodity. They change the name, right? They try to get away from that Game Pass structure because, I don't think the Game Pass structure is ever going to work for Xbox. I think it could work for PlayStation. I think it maybe could even work for Nintendo, but not for Xbox. Yeah, I think it'll be restructured for Helix. I think it'll get a brand new name because Xbox always has to name their shit some of the dumbest things we've ever heard.
I know.
And it'll be called something really stupid, but I think it will be rebranded.
You know what makes PlayStation simple? Their branding. This is the PlayStation 1. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5. So you know what happens when they launch the next PlayStation? They're going to call it PlayStation 6. So this way we know exactly where we are instead of having you go from Xbox 360 to the Xbox One to the Xbox Series consoles. You're confusing your consumers. You're confusing your industry. Just make it simple, man. So, but they've done this for so long. I don't what do you do with Project Helix? Do you call it man? I don't even know where
you have to just call it Project Helix, right? I mean, you have to stick to.
That's code name for now, right? Do you think they stick with Helix? Not likely.
I think it would be better than anything else they've done, right? I think, Helix is better than the S, the X, the Xbox One. I mean, it goes back to those 360 days where it's kind of silly, but it, just fits, right?
Sure.
It obviously makes whatever is after the Helix a nightmare to figure out. But I think if you're Xbox, I think the other thing is, right, you just want to stick with what people have been calling it, right? Imagine you change the name after been calling it Project Helix for so long. I have no faith that Xbox will do it correctly again. But, I think Helix just makes the most sense because it's I want the Xbox Helix, right? At least it stands out, unlike the other ones, where it was so dang confusing what console you actually wanted.
Do they go back to 2 versions, or they stick with one? No,
please. There's no way. There's no world. There's no. Okay, I will say this. I think the only way you do 2 versions is if you do this is just a console version, which is cheaper, and then this is the same power console, but also can run Steam games version, right? I think you could do that, where it's hey, do you want to just play your Xbox games? Get the Xbox Helix, right? You want to play PC and Xbox games? Get the Xbox Giga Helix or whatever they want to call it, right?
Xbox machine.
I think,
go right up against Valve.
Exactly. Something like that would work, but it would have to make sure that the console SKU is the exact same. No S and X. I don't think they'll ever do the S and X complete flop again, but I do think I could see a world where they realize, okay, the Helix is going to cost $1,500. Can we make a $700 version that only plays console games and maybe not get raked through the coals again? Then we'll do that, but we'll also release our $1,500 mini gaming PC.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because there's also rumors about the Xbox handheld too, right? So where are we coming in to play with?
Died down very quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, the only one surviving still is Nintendo and the Steam Deck. Mind you, the Steam Deck does really well. So,
and Nintendo's the handheld market, right? So not only do you have to make a good handheld, you have to have games that can compete against Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Pokemon, right? Like you don't have those if you're Xbox, right? And I think that is where it's like do not go into the handheld market because Nintendo will stomp you into the ground anytime they release one of their titles.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they take Game Pass now because they've got to figure that out as they're losing again. But we want to hear from you. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know what can Xbox do to save Game Pass. Where do they take it next? Michael, let's get into part 2 of our topic of the show. Let's get into the releases of January and what we are looking forward to playing. July. Sorry, I said January. I don't know where that came from. That was a weird one. Man, oh man. I'm going to let you go first.
You're looking forward to GTA or you want to restart the year? I don't know which.
I mean, sometimes I wouldn't mind restarting my year. But yeah, let's kick it over to you first. We'll do one game at a time. We'll go back and forth. How's that?
Well, that sounds good to me. So coming out tomorrow, and I will say, talked about this out on the Substack a little bit on one of my notes that I put out yesterday. I mean, I'm kind of bummed, but it is College Football 27. It comes out tomorrow. They've got so many cool things that they're adding in. If you've been following the college football landscape, right, you know it is incredibly different, and they're finally kind of adding all this NIL, all that, except Drew in classic EA fashion. We've got microtransaction controversy in our single-player modes, mind you, right? I don't mind it if you're on Ultimate Team or whatever, but they're adding it into both Road to the Glory and the Dynasty mode. I'm sure you've seen there's a hashtag trending right now, CFB play don't pay. So I lost a little bit of steam because I love this franchise. This is the reason I got an Xbox again, Drew, was to play this title.
Sure. And
I'm kind of bummed, but I'm definitely going to check it out tomorrow, and hopefully EA will respond. So my hype levels died down a little bit, but still, it's one of those just iconic games. I played every single one growing up. I was so pumped when the franchise came back, and I'm definitely going to check it out tomorrow.
There you go. I'll be checking out on the 16th is Moss, the Forgotten Relic. So Moss initially launched on PlayStation VR 1. And it's been kind of locked away. And then they launched Moss 2. That is locked away as well in VR land. And let's be honest, there's a reason why PlayStation no longer supports the PSVR 1 or 2 because the industry isn't there, right? They're kind of banking and betting on a VR boom. It hit with I thought it was a cool piece of tech, but at the end of the day, nobody wants this big clunky device on their face. That's what it comes down to, right? Yep. Until it's like a pair of glasses that you're wearing, man, oh man, I don't want anything else anymore on my face. That like even the second one started to hurt the bridge of my nose. I'm like, get this off me. And I played some pretty cool games there. And Moss was definitely one of them. So, but now Moss is coming to the actual consoles, coming out on the 16th. Looking forward to re-experiencing Moss and maybe completing the sequel. That's where I'm at. What else you got?
Well, I'll talk a little bit more about this one in our final segment, but part of the reason my list is so small is because we are getting PAL World 1.0
crazy
on July 10th. So if you're watching this on the Friday, either on our YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, right, it is out. Yeah. If you're watching on the Substack, it does come out in a couple of days. But yeah, I'm so hyped for this. Like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about it in the indie spotlight. Feels weird to call it an indie. By the way, they just announced 40 million people have played the game in early access. So it feels weird to call it an indie, but it still is. So I'll talk a little bit more about the indie spotlight, what I'm looking forward to. But man, I cannot wait for the 1.0. My Discord is buzzing right now. Everybody is so pumped for this game. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. I think this one here is a hidden gem. This is Lifted. So this is actually somebody, it's a creator who left Disney to create his own game. And it's got that Disney-esque Pixar charm. And it looks like a Rayman character going out and about and platforming and such like that. So yeah, this one's coming out July 22nd. It's one definitely keep your eye on. I think it looks really, really cool. I love the art direction. It's just something that's a little bit more relaxing, peaceful, but still challenging. So yeah, keep your eye out for that one. Michael, you and I both have this one on our list. What do you got?
Yeah, I kind of had to borrow from your list a little bit here, and that is Halo Campaign Evolved. Now, I'm not a big single-player Halo guy. Like, I beat the campaigns on 3 and ODST and 4. And so I'm not super pumped, but for me, the big thing is this is our first Halo under the Halo Studio name. I think in 4 years, 5 years. I think 2021 was the last Halo, if I remember correctly.
Halo 5. Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah, that's right. Halo Infinite. I just want to see how it plays, right? Again,
Sure.
I would have loved this is going to be multiplayer. I know that they're one of their multiplayer projects just got canceled. Hopefully they got another one in the works. But I just want to see Master Chief back, not on a TV show with his helmet on. I don't know who he is. I'm just going to pretend all that didn't happen. I just want to see what Halo Studios can put out, Drew. You and I have talked about it. You've been very critical of the move to make it just Halo. I just want to see what their first title looks like. So very cautiously optimistic, but this again, and it's cross-platform, which is still just so weird to see
PS5
on the PlayStation. It's so weird as a single-player game, mind you. As you said, this was your way back, and you put it out on cross-platform. But I just want to see what to expect from Halo going forward. Is this going to be a dud and like, okay, yeah, Halo's dead, or is this going to be a gem? And I'm like, okay, maybe Halo's got some legs.
Which is fair, right? So it's also on my list, coming out on January 28th. Halo, this is the first time Halo Studios have produced a full game in Unreal Engine 5. So this is their first attempt using that engine versus what they were using in the past. Did they learn enough, right? I think the game looks pretty, but you're using Unreal Engine 5. And at this point, if a game doesn't look pretty, what are you guys doing, right? Especially at the AAA level. So
exactly, yeah.
But I've talked my Halo opinion for quite a while, a very long time, and I still stand behind it. So, but I'm very curious to see if this reignites anybody, right? To go, oh man, this is such a great time, but will it stick? I don't know. But what I'll be sticking with is Mistfall Hunter on the 29th. The grind is going to be on, Michael. I will be out there hunting, looting, and going back to upgrade. This is my next extraction hook, we'll call it, because I played the beta twice now. Loved it. Played it on PC, played it on Xbox. This is launching across the board on I think it's on PS5 as well. Definitely on PC and Xbox. I'll be playing it over on Xbox. I've already got a couple of friends lined up to play, hopefully with me, because you don't want to go out solo. You can go out solo, but it's really meant to be with your team of 3. Thanks, Apex. So yeah, it's one of those things that, man, it looks like an Elden Ring type kind of world, and you're out there looting and crafting and building and getting better material, going back to base, upgrading your base, which I always freaking love that stuff. It's such a hook for me to go back, upgrade my base, level this up, then get new gear, hold material back until I get enough material that I can go craft that item. And then, of course, it's the risk reward of what items you bring with you, because how far can you push before you lose it, because there's a better team out there that just wipes you clean. So that's probably one of the bigger ones for me personally this month is Mistfall Hunter. I've been following this game for a very long time. Very excited to finally jump in the full release at the end of the month. What else you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had Mistfall Hunters on my list as well. Now, this one is going to be tricky for me. I didn't play the betas, the playtest, because I was playing the Sand playtest, right? The Sand had me hooked.
Yeah.
And Sand has actually got me with an extraction shooter, so I want to see how Mistfall Hunters compares. You've been hyping it up, right? As I talked about in my review of Sand, right? In this genre, you've got to have that hook, right? We've done all the cores to death. I know the core gameplay. What's your hook? You kind of teased a little bit, right? It is sort of that melee focus, right? As opposed to maybe
it's not a shooter.
As opposed to the shooting we usually see. So I think I'm very, very interested to see how this is going to compare to Sand. Am I going to be able to convince my friends who are absolutely, again, I've got buddies who are playing, like, they've already got like 150 hours logged on Sand, right?
Woo.
Can I move them over to Mistfall Hunters, right? That's going to be the trick. Actually, ironically enough, before we move on to your last one, I was playing World of Warcraft the other day. I actually ran into a developer of Mistfall Hunters in one of my dungeons.
No way.
He was in a guild advertising. His guild was called Mistfall Hunters on Steam. And I was like, are you a dev for the game? He's like, yeah, go wishlist the game. So thought it was just kind of cool that they're kind of doing some, I guess, rogue marketing, I guess you could call it, right? Just trying to plant the seed everywhere. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how this game's going to compare to Sand, because I absolutely love Sand, and I hate the extractor shooter genre, but it's because the tramplers, the mechs are just so unique. It's just different. So I'm very optimistic. You've got me hyped. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. But what else do you got on your list?
I got a couple more to go. Before we get there, I'm really curious to see if Mistfall connects with you, because it is so different than Sand, right? Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting your feedback on that one. Corsair Cove. This is a pirate city builder.
Ooh.
Is what this is. And it's a vertical builder, too. That's the cool thing. You're stranded on the island, and then you're building and fortified and leveling up. And then you grow your city and your pirates and your roster, right? And then you become the pirate legend, operating and managing all your resources, gathering new resources, building this, building that, taking care of all your villagers and stuff. Super cool. I'm a old school like Sim City guy from back in the day, so then to get something in that wheelhouse for me, this one is one I've been watching for a while. I got a couple more on here too before I let you get to that last one there, Michael. The Relic First Guardian is another one we got hit up on in one of our emails. But this one looks kind of interesting. It looks tough. It's a roguelike experience by the sounds of things. So curious to that one. And then last one for me, that was out on the 31st, along with Corsair Cove on the 31st. And then lastly is the sequel. This is Speedrunners 2, King of Speed. And this is one of those, how fast can you get from point A to point B with a group of buddies? And then you're trying to outdo each other and stuff like that. It's a ton of fun. There's a huge opportunity here. I'm curious to see how well it takes off. If you were like one of the speedrunner type players, this is definitely one you should be kind of keeping an eye on and playing. But yeah, very cool. You got one more there, Michael. What is that?
Yeah, this one is going to come with a bit of an asterisk because we don't have a date yet, and that is League of Legends Classic. Of course, the rumors were supposed to come out early July. Servers should be up. What we know as of right now, they're having their international championships for professional League of Legends during the finals on July 12th. We are supposed to get an announcement. So, could it be a servers are live as soon as the final ends? Could it be we have a date? That all remains to be seen, but July 12th, we are going to get hopefully more in an official date for League of Legends Classic. I'm really pumped. I know League of Legends has a very divisive opinion, but it's the game, one of the games I grew up on. My buddies and I have been playing it. I definitely am pumped. I'm hoping it's far enough away. I'm honestly hoping it's like, hey, it's coming out in a week because I got Power World on the 10th. I really don't want to have to get told, hey, League Classic launches July 13th as soon as the MSI Grand Finals are done here, right? So I'm really fingers crossed it's going to be later in the month, but again, it's one of those, it's a remake that I cannot wait to see. I never thought we'd see the day. I thought Riot would just say, no, we're not going to do this. Because there is sort of that hint. I talked about it in one of my, I talked about it once. Like, if you make a remake, you're kind of admitting your main game failed, right? Because you have to bring people back in. It's always kind of, I think, tough for developers to do. But I'm super, super pumped, Drew. But we still got more games to talk about, Drew, because we got our indie spotlight, and you stole this one from me. You dirty dog. I was going to talk about this. I almost wrote about it last week, and I was like, I'll save it for Tuesday. And then you stole it. What game did you steal from me for our indie spotlight as we wrap things up here?
I stole RV There Yet.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
Dude, when I saw this, I'm like, this is Michael to a T. Friend Slop City is where I was at with this one. So here's the catch. Normally, we're highlighting indie spotlights that are usually typically focused on Steam. This one is actually over on Game Pass as well, which I haven't downloaded. Haven't had a chance to jump in. Again, working on Assassin's Creed. So I'm about to hopefully rope my buddy Kyle in, and we're going to see if we can move an RV from point A to point B without tipping it and rolling it and running from bears and everything else. It's a co-op, 4-person co-op, where you go out and you literally are trying to just get your RV back home. But to get there isn't the exactly easiest route, to say the least. So it's a lot of chaotic fun by what I was able to catch. But yeah, every Tuesday, every Thursday, we often write about an indie spotlight, each of us, Michael and I, and we post it over on the gamerstheory.com website, as well as our Substack, the gamerstheory.substack.com. So that was mine, and as I posted that, Michael hit me up and said, "You stole my spotlight today." I was like,
You did. I love this game's awesome, by the way. This game is awesome. I played with some buddies. Absolutely fun. I think we almost beat it. We never quite got our back around to beating it, and then they added more content. But yeah, it's so much fun, as you said. You nailed it. It is peak me. It's so peak friend slop. Absolute blast. You're just screaming. You're just yelling. I'll never forget the first time I dropped in. I'm like, I'm driving the RV, which, by the way, I'll give you a bit of a spoiler, Drew. The RV is manual, by the way. So hopefully you're ready for that. Because it took my buddies. It took a little bit. They're like, what am I doing? But I'm driving. I'm just going across the curves. I think I'm like, I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I look behind. I have literally nothing. I've ripped the roof off. I've ripped the walls off. I just have foundation. Half my friends are dead or have been ejected from the RV. And I was just straight trucking along thinking I was absolutely killing it. So, man, it is so, so fun. But I talked about this game in what I'm playing this month. It is Power World 1.0. Again, feels weird to give it a spotlight. Everybody's playing this game.
Yeah.
But maybe you're like me, right? I played it when the game first came out. Absolutely loved it. I haven't touched it since, right? I've kind of been like one of those. I think I jumped in for one of the updates, and I was like, okay, basically this is the same game. Haven't put that many hours in, but as the full 1.0 comes out, 27-page PDF patch notes. By the way, for the 1.0. That is how much content we are getting. I can quickly summarize it for you, right? We're getting a rework progression curve. The tree, if you ever played, there's sort of this tree that's been ominously in the background. It is finally going to be accessible, so I cannot wait for that. They're reworking the tower bosses. They're adding new pals. Cannot wait. If you have played the game, by the way, I did just hear, I was looking a little bit into it, because again, I'm so pumped. My Discord is buzzing. We're linking each other, a bunch of different stuff. They do recommend starting fresh. They said, yes, you can continue your old save, but they said there's so many changes. There might be bugs, so they did say, if possible, you should start fresh. But I'm pumped. After everything this game has gone through, Drew, from the lawsuits to, you know, I would argue being blackballed at the Game Awards, where it basically wasn't mentioned despite being one of the more popular releases, to getting a trailer at the Game Awards that you and I were watching. The glow up has been incredible, and I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. I don't know where you go from here. I'm kind of sad, right? Because like once you get 1.0, it's like, are you going to give us DLC? Are you going to give us more content? Or is it going to be like, here's your game, here's thousands of hours of content, it's a survival game, we're done? Which I think would be totally fair with them, but I cannot wait for Power World 1.0. Should be an absolute blast coming out on Friday.
Nice. That is cool. I do want to give a quick shout out too to No Rest for the Wicked. If you buy early access now, before game launches, I think they said they only go until Friday, so the 10th. So you only got like, we're recording on the Wednesday. This will go live tomorrow. Maybe, no, it'll go live on Friday. So buy it Friday. Yeah. You got to get it on Friday. Buy it Friday. But then you get the Founders Pack as with it. Ooh. So it's no additional cost. You just happen to get it because you bought early as a founder. And then it's releasing as well over on PlayStation come October for 1.0, which apparently is just the beginning of the game and what they have planned. This is Moon Studios. This is the team that brought us Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. They are incredible games. This is an incredible game. I'm waiting for 1.0. I want it on the big screen, dude. I don't want to play it on my PC, laptop anymore, even though it runs and looks incredibly well. I now want the controller in my hand on the couch with the big 55-inch TV. Look at all the beautiful effects and stuff like that. So I'm pretty pumped to finally get that over there. I was hoping for Game Pass or Xbox at least, because I got more buddies over in Xbox, but at the same time, welcome to the 1.0 finally, because it's been a long time coming. I think they just also announced they hit 2 million copies sold. Nice. So good for them. You want to talk about an independent studio? Moon Studios is definitely one of those teams. So highly recommend that. And of course, I highly recommend you check us out. You can always catch our stuff over at the GamersTheory.com website or our Substack, thegamerstheory.substack.com. And if you catch this podcast over on our YouTube channel, hit that like, subscribe button. It helps us go a long way. If you find us over on Spotify, do the same thing. Subscribe. Keep our content coming. We've got all kinds of new content. Again, we just upgraded our paid tier now for our Substack. So there's a lot of stuff coming in exclusively for those who are paid members versus all this free stuff that we always do each and every day, which is a lot of content we already produce. So now with the paid tier, there's more content. But either way, we're having a ton of fun. There's always new games to talk about. Xbox right now is on fire, so there's always some kind of discussion.
Not in a good way. No. It's not a good fire. It's not a good fire.
No. Even PlayStation as of late, too, right? So, yeah. Industry is always hopping. We're always busy, and we always appreciate each and every one of you guys for showing up and joining us along the way. Until next time, everyone, thanks again for watching. I'm Drew. That's Michael. This has been Theory Unlocked. We'll see you next week.